Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 1 to What If Naruto Went Rogue. So, the like goal in this video is going to be 100 likes and you will obviously get a part 2. And with that being said, make sure to join my Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And let's get into the actual material of the What If. So you may be wondering, isn't this a lot like your What If Naruto was exiled from the village? No, it's actually going to be much different from that. It's simply because of the fact that Naruto's character is going to be changing, and basically the end result will be much, well, not the end result, but the result would be much different. In the exiled one, Naruto didn't really hold much resentment towards the village, and he was kind of forcefully kicked out. In this What If, Naruto's going to leave by choice because of all of the hatred that he feels for the village, and maybe just a little bit of influence from Kurama. So this story is going to start off at towards the beginning, or literally the exact beginning of the story. You know, like Mizuki and everything like that was still happening. Naruto steals the scroll, learns the Shadow Clone Jutsu, except in this time, he actually listens to Mizuki. He doesn't listen to Iruka Sensei. And he starts developing this hatred towards basically the Leaf Village, and Kurama finds that this is a perfect opportunity. And this is the first time that Naruto is going to be talking to Kurama in this What If. Naruto enters his mindscape, and he basically goes through this maze before eventually coming across this massive cage where he sees this massive Nine-Tails fox. And basically, the Nine-Tails fox sees this as a really good opportunity to get it on Naruto's good side, and maybe even basically let Naruto get some chakra through. Maybe he even knows how to unseal him. So he starts basically explaining to Naruto what happened about Madara Uchiha and everything like that. Naruto starts learning about basically history of the basically the shinobi world, and he starts developing different ideals from his normal self that, he starts developing ideals such as Sasuke or Madara would, that they need to completely, something maybe even Sasuke would come up with. But you know how Sasuke was the infinite Tsukuyomi wouldn't be enough. You need to completely eradicate the world and start from scratch. That's kind of what Naruto's thinking at this point. He's like, there's too much hatred. There's too much, basically, this kind of shit going around. There's too much war. He needs to start this over. All of them have to be fearing him. Kind of what Sasuke wanted to do. Kind of rule from the shadows. If anybody does anything, he kills them by himself. All the hatred will be forced upon him, not anybody else. He thinks this is the perfect plan. And Kurama lets out a smile at this because he's just like, yes, I've influenced him. Perfect. So, as Naruto exits his basically mindscape, he starts talking to Mizuki and Iruka Sensei. And Naruto tells Iruka and Mizuki, he's like, I'm not leaving with you. I'm leaving on my own. Iruka, Mizuki, there's nothing either of you can do to stop me. Iruka tries to stop him, and he's just like, Naruto, what are you talking about? Don't do anything. Naruto starts to get more and more mad as Iruka keeps on talking, before he casts his head down, as a shadow looms over his eyes and face. Before Naruto looks back up, his eyes orange with black slits through them, and his voice deepens a little bit, and he just says, get out of the way if you don't want me to kill you. And at this, Iruka feels an immense amount of fear, because obviously Naruto would be influenced by the Nine-Tails chakra at this point, and he just lets Naruto pass, knowing that there's nothing he can do about it. So, Mizuki would be put in jail, just like normal, except Naruto would just simply leave the village. Nobody really knows exactly where he went, or what happened with him, but only the future will tell. So, Mizuki would end up, be still put in jail, and Iruka would end up going to the third Hokage. He tells him exactly what happened, and Hiruzen gets mad. He's like, no, Naruto's been influenced by the Kyuubi. He knows this because of the slits in Naruto's eyes that basically Iruka tells him about, and they all come to the conclusion that Naruto is just completely under the control of Kurama at this point, or the Nine-Tails. At least, that's what they think. So, with that happening in the Leaf Village, Naruto begins walking, and eventually it breaks into a jog, and then a run, as he wants to get away from the village as quickly as possible. He continues on running for a really long time, until eventually he finds himself in the middle of absolutely nowhere. He looks around and basically takes in his surroundings, not really paying attention to where he was going in the first place. and he notices something. He's never been to this place, nor is he anywhere near where he has ever been before. He ran for almost the entire day, or basically night, I'm pretty sure it was at that point, and he has no idea where he is anymore. He starts looking around, starts actually walking, climbing onto tops of trees and going to the tops of mountains, trying to basically find the nearest civilization. And he successfully does so. It's obviously not the Leaf Village. It's actually a completely different village. This being the this being the village hidden in the mist. So Naruto begins walking up to it, basically knowing that he has to get some type of food and water. Otherwise, he's going to basically die in not too long. So, as he's going up to the village, he notices something. As he's walking into the village, obviously the Hidden Mist at this point is known as like the Blood Mist Village still. And they don't really appreciate some random person, even if it is a kid, just randomly walking into it. So as Naruto's stepping through the gate, about 8 or 9 Anbu ninja just kind of surround Naruto. Naruto, at this point, would basically have no real way to defend against them, and he would try to surrender. But they wouldn't really allow that to happen, as they're basically beating up on him and cutting him. And Naruto's like, he's starting to get angry, he's starting to get mad, he's starting to get enraged. And this is when a little bit of the Kyuubi chakra once again seeps out of Naruto, and his eyes once again turn orange with a black slit in the middle. And his strength increases, along with his chakra reserve, and he's actually managing to put up a little bit of fight against all these Anbu ninja. Their punches seem to slow down, whereas no, he's just faster. And Naruto can easily react to all of them now. And then it hits him, he's just like, this is the chakra of the thing I was talking to, this is what's making me powerful. And Naruto starts to let it happen. An entire tail sprouts, and Naruto is easily taking on all of these Anbu ninja all at the same time with relatively no difficulty at all. He actually does manage to take them all down. This is when some unfamiliar faces appear. This being somebody that we all know, but Naruto wouldn't at this point. Zabuza. At this point, he is obviously one of the Hidden Mist, 7 ninja swordsmen, and he walks out now, and he begins fighting with Naruto. And he's absurdly impressed by this. He's much stronger than even Haku, and he knocks him out, basically with a chop to the neck, and realizes that he's like, okay, I want this kid to be basically added to my arsenal. I want him to be not necessarily my slave, but basically kind of like what he has Haku doing. So Naruto wakes up, basically later in that day, and he opens his eyes. He looks around, and he sees Zabuza standing over him. Naruto gets up, and he's just like, what happened? Because he doesn't really remember too much, because, he got knocked out relatively quickly when the battle began. Zabuza kind of explains what happened, and Naruto answers the question. He's like, oh, that's the Nine-Tails Fox's chakra, it makes me stronger. And Zabuza's like, wait, what? You have he's from the Leaf. He's the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect for him. And he starts basically training Naruto until the fateful day arrives. The Land of Waves mission for basically Team 7 would arrive, and they begin their journey. As this is happening, Naruto would actually be accompanying Haku and Zabuza. And with him accompanying them, he doesn't have the first encounter, because that was only with basically Zabuza being there, and he fought them off. That still happens with Haku still going and rescuing Zabuza when Kakashi about killed him. So their actual encounter would end up happening later on, when they basically meet each other at the bridge. And with that happening, Kakashi would notice something. This person in front of him seems relatively familiar, but he just can't put his finger on it. He doesn't know why. Maybe it reminds him of Minato, but no, it can't be. It can't be Naruto. There's no way. So everybody basically begins battling. Naruto at this point in base form, or without any of the Kyuubi chakra, would be around as strong as Haku. Or, basically as strong as somebody like Sasuke or somebody like that. So he would actually begin fighting with Sasuke. Their battle would continue, and Sasuke would eventually basically reawaken the Sharingan from this battle. When he reawakens the Sharingan, he gains a pretty massive edge in his fight with Naruto. And as their fight continues, Naruto basically tells Haku, he's like, no, don't get yourself involved. This is my fight now. So, with that happening, Naruto continues on with his fight. And more he begins losing as Sasuke's Sharingan continues to evolve from basically being used. So, as this fight continues, Naruto starts to get more and more mad. He can't land hits, and he's getting hits landed basically left and right on him. And this is when it happens. For the first time in a pretty decent while, Naruto's eyes once again turn orange, and the black slits appear. And this, Sasuke starts being basically pushed back, starts to lose the battle. His Sharingan even evolves to the Two-Tomo in this fight, but it's barely enough. And he still can't actually manage to defeat Naruto. They're fighting on par. But then something happens. Naruto basically sprouts a full tail. This is when Kakashi realizes that his basically beginning hunch was completely true. This has to be Naruto. It has to be. Otherwise, that's the Nine Tails chakra. It has to be. And he starts getting sad. Starts basically feeling a lot of different mixed emotions that he couldn't protect Naruto, that he couldn't do any of this. So, as he basically does this, he still would end up killing Zabuza. And then he starts to face off against Haku. He would still end up killing Haku, with Naruto watching in the background after basically defeating Sasuke. He looks up now, and a second tail sprouts. Because, again, that was his master, at least for a decent while, and Haku had been a basic kind of a friend. And Naruto starts to get mad. A single tear sheds from his eye as he completely loses control. He blacks out, and when he reawakens, his skin is all torn up, and it's burned, and he's wondering what exactly happened, and he looks around, and he sees a nearly dead Kakashi laying across him with a Mangekyo Sharingan activated. He's like, what? What just happened? Kakashi at this point would stand up, and he'd walk over to Naruto, chopping him on the neck, knocking him out. Naruto still obviously would be wondering what happened. Sasuke would still be alive because he basically was knocked unconscious. There's no reason for Naruto to attack him, and Sakura didn't really want to get involved in that fight, obviously. You may be wondering what exactly happened. Naruto blacked out at around the two-tails state, and when that happened, more and more of the Kyuubi chakra would begin seeping through him before eventually he went all the way to the four tails. So, with that happening, he would have almost absolutely decimated Kakashi, but Kakashi actually awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan in that fight due to the need to, and that actually gave him enough of an edge to be able to prevail against the Four Tails Naruto. So that's kind of what happened with that. So, with that being said, Naruto wakes up in the hospital, once again in the Leaf Village, and he sees Hiruzen, Kakashi, and Jiraiya all surrounding him. And at this, basically says a few words. Why did you bring me back? But that's where I'm going to leave this part off. So, see you guys in the next part. Peace out.